So we know how to count by tens to 100, but when you get to first grade, you'll be counting by tens to 120. So you'll be working all the way from 1 to 120. So today we'll be counting by tens to 120. Super fun. I'll share my screen. Just give me 1 sec. Here we go.
How can you count to 50 by tens?
How would one of you like to count by tens to 50? Jaden?
Um, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,
90.
100.
100, yep. So Jaden counted by tens all the way to 100.
Let's take a look at a couple of different ways.
You can use 10 frames to count by tens. How many 10 frames are there for 10? How many 10 frames?
How many 10 frames are there for 10? For the number 10, how many 10 frames are there? Alana? There are 10 and 1 10 frame for the number 10. So there's only 1 10 frame. That means 110. How many 10 frames are there for the number 20? For the number 20, how many 10 frames do we need to fill? Jaden? I don't know if he's raising his hand or if he's frozen. I think he's frozen. Yep, he's definitely frozen. Okay, Alana?
Is a 2 and 20.
Yeah, there are 2 10 frames to show the number 20. You needed to fill 2 10 frames up to get the number 20.
Frames are there for 20?
2 10 frames for the number 20.
There is 1 10 frame for 10, and there are 2 10 frames for 20. There are 3 10 frames for 30, 4 for 40, and 5 for 50. How many counters are there in 5 10 frames?
So in 5 10 frames, so all of these, how many red counters are there in all? Amelia, are you there?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Hi, hun. I heard you say the answer. The answer was 50. There are 50 red counters here. So 5 10 frames is 50.
There are 50 counters in 5 10 frames. How do you count the groups of counters by tens starting with the first 10 frame?
So starting with the first 10 frame, we have to count the groups of 10 frames. So starting with 10, would anyone like to count? Alana, would you like to count our 10 frames?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
1, 2.
You don't have to count 10 frames. How many in 10? Into the 10 frame. Tell me.
10.
10, then
20, 30, 40, 50.
she counted our groups of 10 frames. And she counted by tens because she knew that if a 10 frame is full, there's 10 in there. She didn't have to count each counter, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that would take so long. Alana is a mathematician who knows all about 10 frames. So she counted by tens.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You can also follow a pattern to count by tens. 6 tens is 60. 7 tens is 70. 8 tens is 80. 9 tens is 90. 10 tens is 100. 11 tens is 110. 12 tens is 120.
Wow. Remember, in first grade, you have to count all the way to 120. Not just 100, 120.
What do you notice about the numbers as you count from 60 to 120?
Hold on. So there is a pattern here. When you count from 60 all the way to 120, there is a pattern that will help you remember all of your numbers.
The number of tens is written first, followed by a 0. What do you notice about the word?
So the number of tens is written first, and then it's a 0. So 6 tens is a 60, 6 and a 0. 7 tens is 70, 7 and a 0. 8 tens is 80, the number 8 and a 0. That's the pattern.
As you count from 60 to 90.
The word, the sound of the number can also help you.
The words start with the number of tens. 60 starts with 6. 70 starts with 7. 80 starts with 8. 90 starts with 9.
Isn't that so cool? You can never forget your numbers because the word is the number. 60, 6. 70 has the word 7 in it. 80 has the word 8 in it. 90 has the word 9 in it.
What do you notice about the words when you count from 100 to 120?
So now when we get to 100, there's a different pattern. And this is the first grade pattern.
Each number starts with 100 and then the words for how many more tens. 100 has no more tens.
100 has 10 tens and no more. So that's why 100 is 1 0 for 10 and then another 0.
110 has one more 10. 120 has two more tens. Now you know how to count by tens.
That was really cool, all the number patterns. And good thing you know how to count by tens now. You just got to remember the patterns. So most of you did your work already. But are there any questions about counting by tens to 120? No, no. Alrighty, you 3 are awesome. You can go ahead and say goodbye to your friends.
Bye. Bye, Miss Morero.
Bye, Jaden.
Bye, Lana. Bye, Cheeto. Bye, Amelia. Bye.
Bye-bye.